Everybody, it's Audrey and I'm going to share another video with you today. And today it is for Thermoweb, and I have some cool techniques I'm going to be doing with the new mixed media sheets and some deco foil. So I am going to use some hot melt adhesive, which I had right there, and these mixed media sheets, and I'm going to use two colors of the deco foil, the new watercolor deco foils. One is called Emerald and the other one is called Amber. And what I've done is ironed a piece of the hot melt right on to the interfacing, or to the mixed media sheets, which are kind of like an interfacing. And I've just used my regular old clothes iron and just ironed it on, and I'm going to trim it off. The mixed media sheets are 8.5 by 11, and the hot melt sheets are 6 inches wide. So I have a little extra strip there, which is not going to go to waste. I'm going to use that in a little bit. And I'm going to cut up some of the foil here. This is the Emerald watercolor, and I'm also going to cut a piece of the Amber watercolor to fit on the other side. Now I'm just using my regular, like I said, my regular household iron. I wanted to see if the iron would work because you're supposed to use a laminator, but iron does work. It doesn't work as good as the laminator, but I just wanted to show for people at home who may not have a laminator that you can do it with an iron. So I'm going to stick those between a piece of parchment paper, and I've ironed them, and I'm going to let them cool a little bit. It's really important to let that hot melt adhesive cool before you pull it up, or else you actually end up just pulling the adhesive right off with the foil. So this was a little extra strip of the mixed media sheets, and I'm going to paint them some darker fall colors. I'm working with some fall photos today, and I've picked some yellow and orange. And it was a little bit too bright, so I'm adding a little bit of blue, which is the opposite of orange, to help tone it down a little bit. And I'm going to do the same thing with the red over here. I wanted a darker red. This is kind of a very bright red, so I'm adding a little bit of blue to get a darker red. And then I'm going to make a dark orange in the middle. And I'm basing these colors off of the colors in the paper that I'm using, which I haven't shown you yet. But that will be coming up soon. And I'm going to let this dry. I just hang it up with a clothespin somewhere just to let it air dry. And it dries pretty quickly. So I'm going to step my mat aside. And then here is the foil. And I'm going to peel that off. And it came out pretty good with the iron. I'm pretty surprised. There are a few spots where the foil didn't cover all the way. But that's okay because it will go fine with the look that I'm going for. So I'm going to be using this thin metal die from Lawn Fawn, one of my most favorite dies. I love it so much. It gives these little perfectly cut leaves with kind of little stitch lines in them, and they're so gorgeous. Look at how pretty that is on the mixed media sheet with the foil. Absolutely gorgeous. What I love about it is obviously you can't tell this from the video, but it's really thin and it's bendable, not like a piece of paper. It's almost like a fabric flower. It feels like a fabric. I guess it's not really a fabric, but I don't know. It's more bendable, I guess. I'm not sure what the word is I'm looking for, but it's different than paper for sure. So I'm going to use these on my page, and I kind of have a sketch in mind already. And I have some pictures you can see there of my kids jumping in a leaf pile. And so I thought I was going to make some piles, or like mounds, I guess, of leaves. And that's what I was thinking about for my page design. This seems like this half circle or semicircle design, I've been seeing a lot lately. It seems to be pretty popular. As a matter of fact, I just made a quilt all made out of semicircle designs too. So semicircles, I think, are a new shape. Well, not a new shape, but you know what I mean. A shape that's being used a lot lately. So, yeah, my photos are a little busy on that background, but I love that piece of background paper. These papers are from the new Chanel line called Go Now Go, and it has a lot of travel things, but it also has a lot of fall elements, so I'm not really sure what the theme of this paper collection is. It's kind of, I don't travel a lot, and I didn't pick it for the travel elements. I picked it for the fall elements, but I don't know, maybe she was traveling in the fall, and that's why she designed it. But anyway, it's working well for my fall photos. So I have to map those photos a little bit so that they stand off a little bit from the background. Now, my idea is to use a couple smaller piles here, half circles, to do my journaling and title and stuff on. And I was originally going to use this yellow piece of paper for a couple of them, and when I put them on the page, it totally drew away from the yellow of the leaves in my photos. So I'm tapping my fingers there. I'm not really sure if I like that. I want to put a fifth semicircle on, and I'm not sure which color it's going to be, so I'm kind of just going through. And I decide on this paper, and even as I sit here now and my page is finished, I'm still not sure that I like this last paper that I chose, this dark navy. I mean, I love the paper, but I don't know if I like it here on my page. But anyway, it'll have to do because I'm not going back to fix it now. So, okay, so you see I take off those yellow ones. Yeah, I don't like the yellow ones, so I'm going to change it to the green, which I think helps tone it down a little bit and helps make the yellow in my photos stand out. This is a little tip, I guess, a little trick I do sometimes. If I have something in my photos that I really want to stand out, for example, yellow, I'm not going to use the yellow on my page. I'm going to let the yellow be in the photos and use opposite or contrasting colors so that my photos stand out better. So that's something I do a lot to help my photos stand out more. Okay, so now I have the gorgeous leaves cut out from the deco foil, and I start tucking those under. And I don't actually end up using the green leaves on this page. They were just not the right shade of green. They're gorgeous, but they weren't the right shade for this particular page. So the amber ones just come out perfect. And with the painted ones that I'm going to do here in a few minutes. So I'm just going through, this is the ephemera pack or the die cut pack that comes with this collection. And like I said, a lot of travel things, but I did find a couple little things that were cute, like that little camera and little tree, which are perfect for my theme. And then there are always a couple pieces of pattern paper that have something that you can cut out, some elements. So I'm cutting out this little date ticket to put on one of my photos as well. I think these photos were actually from 2 years ago already. Oh my gosh. I keep a pile of photos in my binder, and when I'm ready to like scrap a fall page, I'll go through and see what fall ones I have that I didn't get to scrap. And I'll pull those out before I go to my more recent ones. So yeah, these are from a couple years ago. So on this pack of thickers, which I actually think goes with one of the new Amy Tan lines or something, there was the word all, and it was something like love you all, and I knew I wasn't going to use that in an actual phrase. So I just took the word all, and I'm looking for an F in my thicker stash, and I find a foam F that I'm going to use for the word all. So now I'm going to go through, and before I start laying everything out, I said to myself, all right, I'm just going to glue these down because I know I'm going to use them, and I know that's pretty much where they're going to be, so let's start gluing. And I did. I'm just going to, I used my edge distressor to rough up the edges a little bit, and I'm going to go back and stitch around them as well. I'm sorry the top of my screen is cut off. I have a new, well, not super new, but I've done a couple of videos now with my camera suspended from my ceiling on a selfie stick, and I think that it sank down a little bit, and the view is a lot closer in than it used to be, so I have to kind of wind my stick up a little bit to make sure I get more of the area in the viewing screen. So, okay, anyway, I'm adding some yellow mist, the mustard from Heidi Swap, and then I also add this brown from, I think it's Studio Calico, Mr. Huey's, and it's called a Classic Tan. And so I sprinkle a little bit of that on. All right, so back to that painted sheet that I made with the mixed media sheet, which is now dry. And again, it didn't really take long to dry at all. I'm going to cut some leaves out from the painted parts, and I had to break the die apart. I didn't want to, but I had to because I didn't have enough painted area. And they just popped out so perfectly. And if most dies have like little holes in the back that if they don't pop out easily, you can just use a pin or something, and that's what I did, as I popped them out with a pin because they were kind of stuck in the dies there. But they just were absolutely gorgeous. And I love the way that that red maple leaf came out. The color was so rich and perfect. And I'm just going to mix them up and use the rest of the colors here. And then I was thinking to myself, ooh, maybe I want to use the negatives here, the negative of the orange and the yellow and the red on a page and another fall page, but nah, I threw them away. I mean, it'd probably be neat to do that, but I don't know. I have lots of other supplies I can use. I'm not going to use scraps. Okay, so now I have this huge collection of leaves, and I know that there's no way that I'm going to put every single one of these leaves on the page. I do use most of the painted ones and then the gold ones. All right, so there I've stitched around the piles there with a kind of like a rusty brown color thread. And I'm going to glue my photos down onto the mats and kind of distress the edges of those a little bit too. I don't think there's a page that I've done recently where I haven't used the edge distressor. I can't tell you the last page I did where I haven't distressed the edges of something on my page. Okay, now comes the leaf tucking time. So I'm going to tuck all these leaves in, and they're just absolutely gorgeous. I was really proud of myself at how well the leaves match the colors and the pattern paper. It's a little difficult to see in the video here, but you can see it a little bit better in the photographs at the end. But yeah, I wasn't happy with the green, so I'm going to take the greens out and just use the painted leaves and the amber colored ones. So one little issue that I had with this, and this is just kind of a, I don't know, something that bothered me that may not bother somebody else looking at the page, was that I usually create something, and not intentionally, but most of the time have some type of visual triangle. And I had kind of like 4 clusters on this one, and then that 5th kind of half circle there. So this page bothers me a little bit because of that. And the finished product, while I like it a lot, it also still bothers me a little bit. I just feel like it doesn't flow as well as a page with a true visual triangle. So, but you know what? It is what it is. And it's a page that's done, so that's better than a page that's sitting on the desk without being done yet. This is just some plain like craft foam. It's self-adhesive craft foam that I just got at Hobby Lobby, and I've seen somebody else do this in a video. I have no idea who it was. I can't remember what the page looked like that I saw it on, but anyway, they used just regular craft foam to help pop their photos off the page, and I thought that was a good idea. I had some in my stash because my kids use it sometimes for projects and stuff, so I tried it and I liked it. What else? Not much else goes on the page here. I'm just going to arrange. Oh yeah, I do add some of the brads. When I'm putting these leaves on, I'm kind of folding them on the creases. There are like the die itself made little dotted lines. They almost look like stitch lines. So I'm folding on that to give these leaves a little bit of dimension and depth. And on this leaf, I add a 3D glue dot. If you like Zots, which are the glue dots, Thermoweb makes a 3D one, which is like a foam dot, except it's a glue dot. So it helps raise your item off the page. So those are in the yellow package there, and you can see it says 3D. So they're really cool. I love the 3D glue dots. They're also really good for flare. if you want your flare to stand off the page a little bit more, you should check out those 3D glue dots. So these brads I'm using, some are from the Chamel line that goes with the paper, and some are from a Pebbles line from last year. I think it was like maybe Happy Harvest or Harvest something from last fall. I keep a bag of fall stuff because I love fall and I love doing fall pages. So I keep a whole stash of fall papers and stuff all together. And then I'm mostly using these other little tiny glue dots, which is kind of the other end of the spectrum, and these are for bling, like little pearls or even enamel dots or rhinestones. So these are super small glue dots that I use for that tiny leaf on the yellow tree up there in the top corner of my page. By the way, that little camera where I'm working right now, I had originally picked out a little camera from the ephemera pack, but it just wasn't the right color. It just wasn't dark enough. So I cut that camera out of one of the sheets of pattern paper. So that about does it. I was just waiting for my title to dry because I had painted that a red to match some of the leaves. So you can see it there on the page shot. And I added my journaling. And I forgot to add the date, as you can see, which I do that all the time. So I got to go back and look that up. And look at how gorgeous those leaves came out. So get yourself some hot melt adhesive and some mixed media sheets from Therm and play around with it because it is really fun and really versatile, and I think you'll love it. Thanks so much for stopping by. Have a good one.